Welcome to reFramed, a podcast created to educate, encourage, and inspire parents and professionals. The Gladney Center for Adoption staff know parenting a child that has a history of loss, abuse, neglect, or trauma requires parenting skills and insight to be reframed in order to create a loving and caring environment. reFramed host Emily Moorhead and guests strive to make an impact on our world through topics that are important to you, your family, and our communities. And now, here's your host, Emily Moorhead.
Thank you for joining us today on reFramed. I'm Emily Moorhead, and I'm joined by Dr. Depesh Navasar.
I have a really special guest for us today, Mary Catherine Nader, who is a licensed professional counselor in the state of Texas.
Today I have Marshall Lyles with us, and my colleague Jenny Manley, who is a big Marshall Lyles fan. So Marshall Lyles has kind of all the credentials in the therapy world. You are what we all strive to be as a therapist. I'm joined today with my colleague Lindsay Garrett, who is a licensed clinical social worker in the state of Texas, and Rhonda Rorta, who has a master's degree. Rhonda Rorta is a profound influence in the field with talking about transracial adoption. And I'm sitting with my colleague and friend, Bill Porter. So we call you one of Gladney's in-house brain development experts.
What are your kind of go-to phrases in grief that are helpful?
I think that always I'm saying there's no right way to grieve.
Yeah.
I'm just always saying that because I think all of us are looking for a right way to do it.
There's so much parenting material out right now, which is amazing and exciting, but parents get overwhelmed by trying to figure out how to meet all the standards of all the different people who are talking to them. And sometimes it's as simple as recentering, connect to yourself, and then you will have a moment of mindful awareness of what's needed.
What have you seen that has been one of the or some of the most impactful things for adoptees in securing and feeling comfortable with their identity?
I think to know first that they matter, that their story matters, is what starts building confidence, that they are believed and heard.
There's a deep science when you watch a parent and a young child interacting with each other. This back and forth, what we call face-to-face play. We actually see so much that happens. When you look carefully, it's almost like a duet.
That brain development, that child not having their needs met, they don't have that ideal world brain. What does that mean for our families who are adopting kiddos later in life, who may have had really hard experiences in early brain development?
Yeah, one of the coolest things that occurs with the brain is that it's always rewiring itself. Even this conversation right now is rewiring our own brains. It's fascinating. And so the idea is called neuroplasticity, that the neurons that are being triggered are basically growing, and the ones that are being left behind are basically being pruned. And so input, basically what the child receives, what type of sensory input and emotional support and all that stuff really determines the growth of the brain. And so with our families that are adopting, there's a lot of hope